Hi guys, this is a quick video on a little introduction on compound inequalities. Compound inequalities are those that are combining two inequalities with the word and or with the word or. So for example, I have two inequalities written here. These inequalities are representing the number of candy bars that I think I might need to buy this weekend for Halloween. This first one is saying that the number of candy bars that I need needs to be greater than or equal to 50. Because I know there's at least 50 kids that come, but maybe more. Now the second inequality is my limit that I'm on a budget, so I don't want to buy more than 100. So the number of candy bars I need to buy need to meet both of this criteria. So it needs to be greater than or equal to 50, but at the same time, it needs to be less than 100. So I can write one inequality sentence with that. I'm going to write the variable in the middle. Then I'm going to represent the greater than or equal to 50 by writing it backwards. This reads C is greater than or equal to 50. Now it also needs to meet this criteria. So I'm going to write that on this side, less than 100. As you can see, there's basically two inequalities in this sentence. The first one is right here. C is greater than or equal to 50. The second one is right here. C is less than 100. And since the number of candy bars need to meet both criteria, I write it in one big sentence, one big inequality sentence. Okay, so now let's try another one to give you another idea of how this works. Let's say the number that you need is more than 0 and it's also less than 10. So you can write it like this. Pick any variable, we'll pick x. We write it in the middle and we say x has to be greater than 0 and also has to be less than 10. So x is greater than 0 and it's also less than 10. It's in one sentence. Here's the first sentence and here's the second sentence. This inequality sentence is joining two inequalities in one, and it's using the and word with it because I can write it in one big sentence. X is greater than 0 and less than 10 at the same time. Now let's try one with the word or. The word or is a little bit different because we can't write it in one big sentence. So for example, let's say your number that you're representing has to be, let's say your x has to be less than 0, or your x can be greater than 10. Well, those are two separate sentences. They're separated by the word or. So x is less than 0 are all your negative numbers. X is greater than 10 is anything above 10. So anything between these numbers is not represented by x. It's either this or this. You can't write it in one long sentence like the and compound inequality. Okay, now I'm going to show you how you would solve a compound inequality. As you can see in this one, there's not just the letter x in the middle. There's an expression in the middle. So there's actually two inequalities in here at once. Here's the first one. This one is saying that x minus 2 is greater than negative 4. So I could take that inequality and rewrite it out here. So I'm going to do that right now. So I have x minus 2 is greater than negative 4. Now there's a second inequality in here, and it's right here. It's saying that x minus 2 is less than 3. So there's 2 in here. I rewrote both of them, and I can solve for both of them. So in the first one, you solve like normal. I'm going to add 2 to both sides. I get x is greater than negative 2. On the other one, I'm also going to add 2 on both sides, and I end up with x is less than 5. Notice that I added 2 on both of these. The steps are the same to get to your answer. So that means x needs to be greater than negative 2 and less than 5. Well, that can be written in one sentence. X has to be greater than negative 2, and it also has to be less than 5. There's our solution. Now, the next thing that you would have to do with this is you need to graph that answer. So here's what that would look like. If I draw a number line, I know my x value has to be less than 5, and it also has to be greater than negative 2. So I know I need these two numbers on my number line. So I'm going to put a 0 here, and then I'm going to write my 5, and I'm going to write my negative 2 about where I think it would be. My x value is less than 5, so I would put an open circle on my 5. So I know it's going to go this way, everything less than 5. But it can only go this far because I need to be greater than negative 2. So I put my open circle here and I draw it this way. These two lines are going to meet. My possible solutions for x are all within this region right here. So actually, how we draw them is together. It's all the way from here to here are all my solutions. I can't pick anything beyond 5. I can't pick anything less than negative 2. Now, in this same problem, I'm going to show you another way to solve that without bringing out both of the inequalities. Remember what I told you earlier, that on both of these inequalities, we added 2 to both sides. Well, we can do that right from the beginning. We can start with the expression in the middle of our inequality symbols and figure out how would we get our x by itself. Well, there's a minus 2 here, so we could add 2 on all sides. That way, it cancels in the middle and we're left with x. I have the 3 plus 2 right here, so that's our 5. Our symbol comes down. And negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2, and our symbol comes down. We have the same answer that we got before without having to rewrite every inequality. One thing to remember, though, is to get the variable by itself in the center, you have to do the step on all sides of the inequality. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to solve compound inequalities with the word or in between them. Remember, these can't be written as one long inequality sentence. And they also can't be solved all at once. You have to solve them separately. So basically, you're going to solve this inequality, then you're going to solve this one, and then I'll show you how to graph them. So on this one, we would subtract 3 on both sides. We would get 4c is less than or equal to negative 8. We divide by 4 on both sides, and we're going to end up with c needs to be less than or equal to negative 2. Or on this side, we need to solve this one. We would add 8 to both sides, and we get c is greater than 7. Now, the next thing we need to do is to figure out how to graph. The or situation looks a little bit different on the number line. We're going to draw a number line. We know we're going to need a negative 2 and a 7. So the c is less than or equal to negative 2. So I'm going to put my 0 here. I'm going to put my negative 2 here, and I'm going to put my 7 way up here. C has to be less than or equal to negative 2. Well, it has the equal sign, so my circle is going to be filled in, and I need to highlight everything less than negative 2. Well, that's that way. Now, on this one, C is greater than 7. There's no equal sign, so that's an open circle, and it's greater than goes that way. So your C value is anything bigger than 7, that direction, or less than negative 2, that direction. Notice the number line splits. On or situations, your arrows should go the opposite direction for now. So that means all your solutions are to the right of the 7 and they're to the left of the -2. Everything in between is not a solution. Those are all the numbers that won't work in this compound inequality. Okay, so I hope that's a quick introduction to compound inequalities, and we'll practice some more in class.